2, 1. What's up? Hello, and welcome to a very special Halloween episode of Torg. I am JM the GM. With me tonight is the B team, which if you have been following the B, every time he does that, it catches me by surprise. And my heart rate elevates just a little bit. If you have not followed the B team games, stop what you're doing and go, well, I mean, after this, stop what you're doing and go watch all the other B team games. We are live on the Ulisses International channel, and we're going to pick up with the B team in the middle of things, but just want to shout out to Ulisses International. Thank you for sponsoring us, letting us do this on your channel. Thank you to the B team for showing up basically at these random points during the year to entertain you with wonder and mystery and not a small helping of humor. So I'm going to introduce the B team members here real quick, and then we're going to jump into our very Torg's Day night Halloween special. So in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, we have Maddie, who plays V in our main campaign, and tonight she is reprising her role as Shelley, the fire and brimstone preacher from Orosh. In the upper right, we have the estimable Kirk, who is not only our moderator on chat, but is playing Theodore, the no-nonsense technophile from Core Earth, Brooklyn, if I remember.
I don't know about no nonsense. He's entirely nonsense.
That's fair. The all-nonsense. Dave, good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Actually, so this is a special episode that is a kind of out of the normal game continuity. We'll be back to the Horsemen next week, but we will have a brand new episode 1 of a brand new campaign come January. But we have all of the backlogs up there. We have all of the special events up there. It's good to have a new face in the chat. In the middle, straight from Arkham Asylum, is Ben 1. Thing 1, maybe. We'll call him Thing 1 and Thing 2. Thing 1 is Malachi, who is playing the soon-to-be damned sorcerer from Oroch. I don't think you're actually damned yet. Maybe you're just darned, and you've got to escalate up to damned.
I have a penchant for tentacles.
Who? No, I was going to say who doesn't, but I think it's just Malachi. Thing 2 is in the lower right-hand corner of our screen, which is also Ben. Ben, welcome. He plays Sir Reginald Worthington III, a member of the Queen's Army from Orosh. And are you a Dragon Slayer? I forget. Do you have the Dragon Slaying medal?
Specifically, yes. I'm a monster under the Queen's Own 13th Regiment, and bearer of the Dragon Hunting medal for my for the killing of the Southern Ganges Dragon.
The Southern Ganges Dragon. I'm not sure if I can work that into tonight's episode, but if I can, I will. And then in the lower left-hand corner of the screen is Brian, who's playing Alistair, our Highlander. Not like the Highlander.
Well, no, there still can only be one.
I was like, I haven't tried to cut off your head, so I don't know if I get extra XP for it, but I mean, and he is sort of our tank Scotsman as a counterpoint to Reginald's very stiff upper-lipped Englishman. So
you get all his banked possibility is what happens. That's where the lightning comes from.
How that works? That's the lightning is at Highlander is canon in Torg.
That's why I tell the jokes in chat, so there's lots there.
Okay. Also, Mr. Furious, good to see you. Most of the people I would normally say hi to in chat are actually in front of me on the screen tonight, which is why I love the B team games. So, the first thing you all notice is the darkness. It's pervasive, it's tangible, it's thick around you and seems to bind your limbs. The second thing you notice as consciousness slowly returns to you is the smell. Damp, fecund, rotting vegetation. It just seems pervasive. It's clawed its way so far into your nostrils and sinuses that you're certain, no matter where you go, This smell, you will always be catching whiffs of it. You have no memory of how you got here. The groaning and the creaking of vines, next noise that you hear. As a brief bit of light flares, the light of a torch, nothing more than a thick reptilian bone wrapped in tattered pelts soaked in pitch and set alight. You know where you are. You may not know specifically where you are.
Back in a Roche, I'm sure.
No, it's not a Roche, Ben. It's worse than that. The one place that all reality-rated people, knights and stormers, fear. You're in a gospog field. And you can see these Adinos, they are going down, and they are, you can hear faintly drugged screams as the Adinos are planting things, forcing them deep into the chests of what you can only assume are other storm knights. There's a cloying taste at the back of your mouth. Something was force-fed to you. It burns, it's a little numb, but you're starting to come out of it. And you can see the Adinos who is kind of going around and kicking at the bodies of the other stormers around you. You can even see some of them have little trees that are starting to pop out of their chest. His eyes kind of snap open, and he looks at Reggie, who's like, Orosh. And he says, Wah! And he mutters something in the Adino's tongue and goes running out. What do you do? Worst vacation ever. Yes, all the ampersands. Yes.
One word. Epicat.
Did you say epitaph?
Epicat.
Oh.
Clearly, if I could, I already vomited a little in my mouth. But I'm gonna go ahead and let that go fully forth.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm gonna hand out your Cosmo cards real quick. Brian, you have lost treasure. Maddie, the
Excellent.
best defense. I don't know what any of these do.
Can you say that one again, Jay? I'm sorry.
The best defense. Card number 3. Kirk, the Deep Mist. Reginald, you have Primal Instincts. And Malachi, you have Survival of the Fittest. You can see you're all bound, not with ropes, but with vines that even as you start to test, kind of move and try to bind you tighter. What do you do?
Small question. Where is Dogathy?
You sense Dogathy near. That eldritch bond between the two of you cannot be broken, but it is muted and restrained. You get the feeling that in these cave, you can see as you look above you, there's your eyes are slowly adjusting to the phosphorescent glow of iridescent fungus and lichen up above you. You can sense that Dogathy is that way. Maybe 100 yards, maybe 3. It's hard to tell. Something is actively blocking you from her. But you can sense it, and you can hear the sounds of things moving down the cave mouth. More shouts in the Adino's tongue.
Jam, could I cast a miracle?
All you need is a miracle, Maddie. Yes.
Sweet. I would like to attempt to cast Ward Enemy.
Okay. So, Maddie, for those at home, what does Ward Enemy do?
If I'm successful, all allies within 5 meters of me add +1 to their defenses versus supernaturally evil creatures and their attacks. Counts towards both visible and interaction defenses.
Nice. All right. So you can hear Shelly starts to murmur prayers under her breath. Malachi is staring off, wig-eyed, to to your left. Alistair, Theo, and Reggie, what are you doing?
Well, I expect that my Scottish lockpick is not anywhere near within reach.
If by your Scottish lockpick you mean your claymore or your sword,
My
not your
trusty
claymore,
broadsword, yeah.
your trusty broadsword. As you look around, Alistair, you can see it looks as if the Adinos have just stripped off all of your gear and put it in a pile, kind of not right within reach, but if you could just break free, you could possibly get to them.
Well, Reggie, I've got good news. I've now detected the one thing that's worse than your last bit of cooking, and our captors are dumber than you are. And I'm going to go ahead and try and break free from the vines with sheer, raw Scottish strength.
Give me a sheer raw Scottish strength roll.
I will. 8. Well, let's see. With a 1, that takes it to a 12.
With a 12, Reggie and Theo, you see Alistair snaps one of the vines, and what's really weird about this is the fact that the vine starts pumping out black fluid as if it is bleeding, and all of the vines around you sort of ripple as if they're all connected to something larger. Maddie, did your miracle go off?
Yeah, the DM got 10 and I got 17.
So that's a good success. So everybody gets +2 to all of their defenses. So guys, as long as Shelly is concentrating on this ward, you get +2 to all defenses against all attacks, interaction attacks. Theo and Reggie, what are you doing while this is going?
I believe I should also like to break free from my bonds. Though,
right.
unless someone is offering me assistance.
All right. As Alistair starts cutting himself free, Reggie, give me a strength check.
All right.
And Theo, what are you doing?
6.
Malachi, I think I found your ancient spirits of evil. And they smell horrible.
That's the first sign.
The first sign is the smell.
Oh yeah, so you can turn 2 or 3 corners, see nothing, but still smell a whole lot.
If all of our gear is off of us,
Yes.
then and this is why. Oh well. I'm
Probably have something
gonna
small in
try-
your pocket.
what, my keys?
Oh, are your keys still in your pocket? Imagine what's on Teddy's keychain. It could be anything.
It could be anything. What are you going to try, Teddy?
You know, keychain has a small canister of mace and a church key attached.
Okay.
So we're going to stab the gospog. I want to say tendril. I know that's not right.
Fine.
Vine, and then we're going to push the mace directly into the hole and set it off.
All right. I'm going to count this as a trick test, Teddy. Let's try
All
saying
right.
that 3 times fast.
It's a trick
hello.
test, Teddy.
Hello to Alice and to Greg. Good to see you.
All right. Yeah, okay, so we're starting off with a possibility of being burned. And then burning a possibility for a reroll. It's just
It's not a reroll.
now we don't
You're gonna roll another. You're gonna
Roll
roll
and add
another and add it to. And if it's less than a 10, it counts as a 10. If it's
Nothing
an actual
explodes.
10 or 20, if it's an actual 10 or 20, it explodes.
Oh,
When you spend a possibility, it radically shifts things in your favor. Reggie, what did you get?
It's 5 plus my strength modifier on the bonus chart brings me to 0.
Sweet. Alistair, as you watch Reggie flexes his mighty English muscles and basically like bends himself up like a bow, and then kind of looks around at his wrists and seeing as they have not let go.
You got it. Good job. Yeah, there you're free.
Don't believe that's actually the case, sir.
Is he still in a bikini?
I hope not.
No,
I thought we got to the boat.
he has got his clothes back on.
That was an artist's rendering.
It's a good question, Maddie. You can have a possibility for bringing it up.
We got a
I feel like
19.
that's very living Landy. All right, so you can see Theo jams the mace canister into the hole that he punctured in the vines at his wrists, and the tendrils let go of him, whipping back, sliding under corpses around other trees. So Theo, Alistair are free. And at this point, you can see the two Adinos have come back. The two Adinos come back. They both have torches. They both have spears, and one of them is has its spear across his back, and it's holding a small kind of alabasterish jar. And there's a third Adinos that gets kind of pushed into the room, and she kind of hits the ground. Her headdress comes falling off. And the Adinos with the jar kind of tosses it, and it shatters. And 5 of the as it shatters, there's this wailing noise, and 5 of the gospog kind of rip free from the ground and turn towards you. So we're gonna go into the drama scenes. Maddie, I'm gonna let you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
You want me to cut it?
Yes, please.
Here?
There looks good.
Here?
Yep.
All right. All right, so we have Alistair and Theo free. And the first, all right, so for those of you who are joining us tonight for the first time, if you are not familiar with Torg, all initiative, dramatic skill tests, they're handled by the drama deck. The drama deck gives the GM notes on who goes first, who goes second, what bonuses or penalties apply to each side, and most importantly, the approved actions for the turn. So to prevent players from just kind of getting into the I attack it routine. If you take the approved action as either your main action or as part of a multi-action, you gain a destiny card into your hand. So the card, well, it's not as bad as it looks for me. The card is That Old Chestnut. Heroes go first. Villains are fatigued, but gospog ignore shock damage. And the approved actions here are taunting or tricking of the gospogs. Now, the ones that are moving towards you, they are vaguely humanoid. They seem to resemble a corpse wrapped in living vines, plant matter that just drips in thick, viscous clumps from them. You are seasoned veterans of the Possibility Wars, so you know what a gospog of the second planting looks like. And you also know only High Lords, so specifically only Baruch Ka uses these. So wherever you're at, this may be the frying pan.
JM, may I quickly ask you a question?
You may ask me at your normal speaking cadence.
Well, Malachi speaks slowly and fluidly, but would you say that this antecedent time was more than a minute before things got like real rough?
Yeah, I know how that.
Okay, so while no one was looking, Malachi has made a small circle of salt around himself, spilling it from his pocket as he inches himself around, still completely bound by tentacles. And I have cast Circle of Protection.
Ooh.
Which I will definitely give a possibility to. Okay, so at
It literally looks like you are pulling paper out of the padded like pieces of yourself. Also, a thank you to Arkham Asylum for allowing Ben to join us for tonight. Do promise that if it's too rowdy, we will hit the button.
That is a success of a 17.
All right, what is that?
So,
what bonus does that give to the group?
So anyone within this 6-foot radius has a -4 to get hit and a -4 to any damage done to you within said radius.
So basically, in addition to having +2 to all of their defenses, I take a -4 to attack them, and I do 4 less damage. All right, perfect. So what's
Well,
the?
if it had been
like?
outstanding, we would have been untouchable. But I'm not going to go for untouchable.
What's the effect look like?
The vines around me writhe, and if plants could say, "Oh hell no, that hurts," that's what is happening.
All right. So just for my Storm Knights who may not be remember, there are 2 laws that you need to keep in mind while in the Living Lands. The first is the Law of Savagery. Anytime you do a all-out attack, which means you would take a +4 to hit, but have penalties, it's easier to hit you. You get to add an extra bonus die to your damage because the Living Lands, they be savage. The Law of Life says that if I do make you test for defeat, you automatically get an up, which is a second die to it. So it's very hard. It's very hard to fail a defeat test, though not impossible. And you heal faster as well. You test to heal every scene, as opposed to once, as opposed to the longer length of time. So, all right, who's going first?
All right, well, I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put myself in front of Reggie because, true to form, he's my damsel in distress. So, and I'll post up right in front of him, attracting the attention. I'm gonna tap on my shield to do a trick to try and draw the attention of one of the further gospog away, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a strike at one of the gospog closest to me.
All right.
So do that multi-action gem.
Alternately, you could perhaps, for example, free me.
Oh no, look, lad, this is about developing strength of character as well as real strength, both of which you need to get your English. So, have at it.
I appreciate the. Thank you.
Oh, yep,
Patience, virtue.
All right, so for the trick, I managed an 11.
That is enough to get a standard success against them.
Good, I'll take it. And then for the one that I'm slicing clean in the face, we're looking at a 17.
A 17 is.
Yep.
Do you have any way to? Well, you're right now at a good success. So I will let you choose what to do with that information.
I'm happy with a good success.
All right, go ahead and give me the damage roll.
Ready?
All right, so you see one of them, the vines that are kind of writhing around it, they kind of pop up like little snake heads pointing right at Alistair. And you can see there are little thorns and splinters that are kind of filling the vine tips as if they're about to pepper him with shards and thorns.
So 2 questions.
Yes.
1, are they like clumped or are they kind of spread out?
They are, there's 2 that have come right up next to Alistair, and there's 3 that are kind of clumped together. One of those 3 is the one that is now like, Alice Scottish, moving.
Okay.
May I quickly ask a question? Shelley, are you going to hit them with hellfire?
No, I was going to try Infernal Judgment.
Is that spirit-based?
Let me get Alistair's damage, and then I'll get Maddie's second question, and then we'll jump down to Ben's question. Alistair, what'd you get for damage?
17.
Cool. So a 17. Alistair, what does it look like?
Right. I expect that the vine pods start to open up, and I go, that's a spot right there, and I just pierce through the vine pod and stick it right to the thing's face, and then I just smash straight down with my shield and go.
All right.
As
it hits, it's sappy, it's gooey, but as you kind of come back into your defense position to make sure Reggie isn't, vined, you can see that kind of sticking in a clump, sap, viscera. You can see the rotted remains of a Delphi Council logo. As if, Maddie, what was your second question? And then you can Infernal Judgment.
It's turned into kind of 3 questions. The 3 that are in the back, how far away are they then?
From each other?
No, from us.
They are about 6 meters back.
Great. Third question, because I've never done this before, and I promise it's the last one. How do you do 2 spells at the same time?
I don't believe you can do more than 1 spell at a time.
Okay, because there was something about maintaining concentration.
Oh, yes. So if you have a concentration spell, it's just a -2 to any additional spell check. So you can keep ward enemy up, and then you just take a -2 on top of any other penalties to casting another. I think it's just a concentration spell, though. Concentration.
Oh, you're talking miracles also.
Yes, I'm talking miracles. Sorry.
Here.
Chosen suffers a -2 to all other faith or concentration totals for each miracle she continues to maintain. So you will have a -2 to your faith check when doing another.
Then one last thing.
Malachi would like to enhance your faith as his action. I would like. It's odd because he does some hand motions and he says, telemarketer, Nigerian prince, Emmy Faye Baker, and the power of his spell.
You should know when using faith performance enhancement that if your faith bonus lasts more than 4 hours, you should consult a minister.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The thing with the thing on the bottom. There we go. So a 29 plus my 16 is a 25. So what is your spirit normally?
My spirit normally is 11.
Oh yeah, I killed it. So you're gonna get +3 to all of your spirit rolls for 3 rounds.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
All right, so Malachi, though bound to the ground, starts shouting what seems to be gibberish. Yet you can see like Shelley seems to be almost radiating her faith. In fact, with a outstanding success, Malachi, I'm going to actually say the gospog vines, Shelley, start to burn and crackle around your wrist, and you can just kind of pull free from that.
Sweet. So the DN is the target's dodge or dex, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it in front of the lead of the 3 in the back, and it lasts for 3 rounds. And so if they touch it, they take damage. So I'm going to put it like right at the feet of the first of the 3 in the back.
All right, go for it. Their dodge is 9.
Great. I got a 24.
Okay, hold on. Is that at least 19? Yeah, so I think technically you got whatever is above an outstanding success, but it counts as an outstanding success.
Oh, sorry, 26. Great. Okay. So he's going to take...
Before I forget, Alistair, you also get Glory as your draw from the Destiny deck.
I'll take it.
7. Oh, where did it say it? Mirrored is the priest's faith. So my faith right now is a 19 plus 7. So that's 26 points of fire damage. And that fire call stays there.
Do you have any, like, what does it look like? What does your invocation sound like? And what happens to that lead gospog who just for a brief moment existed and then was like...
I think Shelley is muttering the 10 commandments under her breath because she's really mad right now, so she's trying to center herself.
Okay.
So it's, right on thou shalt not murder. It just erupts out of the ground like a flaming geyser and just incinerates, kind of like Raiders of the Lost Star. This thing just hits.
Just sort of it sits there. All right. Theo or Reggie, what are you doing?
I'm going to try and replicate that trick on Reggie to get him free.
The lighting him on fire trick, or the
Yes. No, he tapped the vine and hit it with a mace.
All right, go ahead and make the trick roll.
I'll take the 16 on the die.
I'm just saying.
It's a 3. And on a trick, makes a 16. And the preferred action is trick or taunt.
The approved action is trick or taunt, so you will get a destiny card if this is successful.
Okay.
You put 1 card into the pool at the end of each action.
So we'll just drop. 16.
All right. Reggie, you see Theo kind of lean over you. Don't worry, this will work. And soon you are covered in the ichor of the vines, but you are free. It does not smell appealing. In fact, the black ooze that comes out of the vines has the pungent scent of rotting meat.
Classic hunter's trick. Where are the remains of your foes so they cannot smell you?
What are you doing, Reggie?
I always do something like that.
Theo, you get supporter. Reggie, St. George's Lance is in the pile next to...
All right. At this juncture, however, it's not a huge grove, right?
It is actually a large cave.
A large cave.
Raising.
Okay. So I will scramble on hands and knees over to the weapon pile, and I will lovingly retrieve the Lance of St. George, check it over, wipe it off And
you're crawling through muck and fetid water, and you pick up the lance, and again, much to your surprise, it seems to be in relatively good shape.
always the way with holy weapons. But, can I take an action, or is that...
You can. No, you can totally take an action.
All right, in that case, I shall check the breach. I shall load a round. I shall kneel, sight down, and fire at the nearest gospog.
That would be the one that is moving toward the other one that's moving towards Alistair. There's the crack of a rifle. Go ahead and give me the roll, Ben.
All right, let's do this. No. Oh yes. So that's going to be. It's going to be a 16.
Good, even number. Good.
Well, actually, wait, I forget. That's not a 16. That's a 10. That's minus the. Yeah.
Did you not roll great, Ben?
I rolled terribly.
Do you want to spend a possibility?
Why not?
All right, go for it.
My life is in danger, or not, or rather, my honor. Oh, well, that's another 4. So.
But remember, that counts as at least a 10, so you got a total of 14 plus 1.
Still an even number.
That's right. You are not getting hit in this case.
So, let's see here. So that is
If you
fire
were wondering, in case you're wondering what Brian's referring to, if you shoot into a melee, if the natural die roll is odd, it gets randomized. If it's even, it hits the person you were intending. So.
All right, so that is going to be so it's a 3 plus a 12.
Mm-hmm.
So 15.
15. All right, so a 15 is a good success. What's the base damage on the Lance of St. George?
Base damage, sir, is
Totally rolls off the tongue.
14.
All right, and then roll a bonus die.
All right. Is that the D6 or just an additional?
Yeah, it's a D6, but remember, a 6 counts as a 5 and then explodes.
Okay. That's a 3, so.
All right, so Reggie, what does it look like?
Well, I dropped to one knee, and as this thing is bearing down upon Alistair, its head erupts, in a spray of green and ichor.
All right, that leaves only 2 left. And sadly, they're the 2 that are that has the fire between them. So they're going to take a shot at Shelly and at Reggie, but they have to shoot through the flames. So I'm going to give them an additional penalty to this, in addition to the circle of protection. So, all right. So that's a -5 total, and that's a +1. So we're going to spend 2 possibilities, 1 for each of them. See if this hits. So, Shelly, what is your current defense? What was that?
Which one?
Yeah, your dodge. Sorry,
Oh,
your dodge, and you're at 2 higher.
2 higher, so it's currently a 13.
So it's currently a 13, and I take taking a -6. So it gives me a +2. So Shelly, you will get peppered. What is your toughness?
These are supernatural evil, yes.
They are
The 13.
13. All right, so Shelly, you take 2 shock from the attack. It just kind of knocks you back. Most of what hits you aren't actually thorns; they're just little ashy bits that get in your eyes. They just sting.
So, question for Malachi: if my spear is a 14, does that mean I now have 14 shock for 3 rounds?
Yes, according to the book, the only thing it doesn't change is toughness, so it should change your shock, I believe.
Reggie, what is your dodge? +2.
unmute me. My dodge, good sir, is 12 plus 2, so 14.
All right, well, that takes it from a good success to a regular success. What's your toughness?
My toughness is 14.
So you will take 2 shock as well, as the flames kind of overwhelm the thorn pods as they shoot at you. You can hear the dinos who was thrown in there call upon someone called Lanala, and calls the other dinos. She slips into English and she calls them cowards. And Alistair, you're kind of up front. You can see they kind of step back into the tunnel and start waving their hands, and the vines start moving to seal off this space. Moving on, new drama card is not like this. The villains suffer a setback, but they go first. So, Maddie, here's what I'm going to say. I want you to roll a d6. Tell me if it explodes. It didn't explode? Okay, so what happens is, as the vines are moving, you definitely see one of the vines hits one of the gospog in the legs, and it stumbles into your flame. I will give you a damage roll for that. Had it exploded, I would have let...
2.
What's the total?
Just for the roll itself?
Yeah, so what's the damage?
Oh, so the damage would be 21 with my current.
All right, there is a sound of like a popcorn seed being dropped into oil, and then it just disappears. The other one, however, kind of moves around it. Oh, the approved action is Intimidate, which you all know the gospogs are immune to, and Maneuver. The gospog turns around and it throws out its arms and it grabs the dinos by the neck and starts choking her with the vines. Who would like to go first?
Well, that sounds like an invitation to cleave a couple of vines. So Alistair will go ahead and just charge forward.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and do an all-out attack. And I'm going to try and take this gospog off at the forearms and free up the poor dinos that's getting choked.
All right, go for it.
Ready?
Now, because
20. That is not the gospog's day. Let's see what we got here going to follow up.
it's really not.
24.
So remember, for those of you with opponent fails, there has been an errata, and it's that targets you. After an action targets you successfully, you get to play an opponent's face. So I say that because I know Maddie has put it into play. That is an outstanding success, Alistair. What would you like to do?
So I'm going to go ahead and roll some damage and see if it actually survived the event.
I don't think it did.
You never know. Yeah, that's a 21. So
What's it look like, Alistair?
So I expect it very neatly and cleanly, planting the shield in this stupid gospog's face. I cut down and take the arms clean off right at about the elbow, and then flick the sword back up and just kind of cut the neat vines so they just fall away from the Adino's neck. With that kind of maniacal grin. That's a shame there's only 5 of these guys.
With that, the last of the ones who have stood, but as you look around, there are dozens of corpses here. Some of them are moving unnaturally. Some of them are still, but you can see something growing out of them. And raise your hand if you spent a possibility in the last fight. I know Ben did. Was it Theo? Oh, okay. So all of you guys kind of feel this, it's a weird feeling kind of in the center of your chest. Maybe a little bit of indigestion. Maybe, that it doesn't feel right. And then it's gone. The Adinos kind of. You are not these monsters. You have not been claimed
Put
yet?
that together, did you? Good job. Good job.
I kind of am one of these monsters, but it's different.
You're our monster. That makes it better.
Exactly. So the two Adinos, are they that were closing the gate or whatever? They're gone.
The gate, there is now just a solid wall of thorny vines where the tunnel entrance once lay.
I don't suppose you have more of that holy fire at hand, Maddie? Oh, not Maddie.
Well,
Shelley.
Shelly has
Shelley.
plenty of eternal flame to just. Can I, over a course of a couple rounds, once the column drops, just pot shot hellfire at where I saw the vines close?
Yeah. As Shelley's just spitting out John Edwards quotes and throwing hellfire, while she's doing that, what are the rest of you guys doing? The Adinos, who are you? What brought you here? And are you linked to the gate?
We're the B team. We don't know, and I doubt it.
The Batang? I'm not sure I've heard of this word before. What is that?
In your language, it sounds like. Bum, 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 bum. Wait, that's Superman.
That's,
No, but anyway.
I'm sorry. The Horsemen get John Williams. The B team get Danny Elfman.
I'll take it.
That's a step up.
Knowing that you are a Dinos, I can perform basically our entire story in the form of dance. And I dance, our history of being incarcerated for a crime we didn't commit, escaping deep into the Orosh underground, achieving several glories on our own, and then arriving here and sailing on a very, very large hang glider above their beautiful shrine, and then somehow we got knocked out, and here we are.
As Malachi says that, Malachi, you've spent a possibility. So you distinctly, clearly remember you were on that boat, right? You had shown up, and Quinn, against his better judgment, had reinstated you, and you know that you were on the aircraft carrier, but you have this vague sense of someone closing something over your mouth. Give me a mind roll.
Oh, thank you.
While he's doing that, Reginald has drawn his saber and is moving around the grove, stabbing gospogs.
Reggie, it's there in a. The good news is, killing the gospogs as they're growing. That's the easy part. What do you do when you come to the bodies that are not quite dead yet, but are writhing in pain?
I assume these are. Do I recognize them?
No. In fact, some of them are clearly not human.
And how far along are they? Are they salvageable?
Reggie, you can do you have a profession monster hunter?
Let's see here.
Otherwise, it's going to be a straight mind roll.
Salvageable? Are they saladable?
Yeah, and I will allow it. Greg has just said that Bureau G claims Hans Zimmer as the official musical scorer, and that's fair. Like, we'll work on getting those rights.
There was a
All right.
draft.
Mind. I do not have a.
All right, so you're going to give me a mind roll. I'll come right back to you. Have the
Sounds
total. What did you get, Malachi?
Oh, I got an 18.
All right. You know the person, like as your memory starts to clear a little bit, you clearly recognize the person who drugged you. It was Anton, the guy you saved in Tharkold. But here's the thing, you saw his death report. You know he's dead. And the eyes of the person who drugged you, they showed no hint of remorse or mercy or recognition. I called out through Sadie. She is a member of your Oracle Council, and she is a tribal leader among the council. And she said, I told her what we found, and she said that she would reach out. I assumed when I was sent here I was dying, but to find storm knights here, this feels. Are you sure you are not sent?
I think we sent through the back door then.
Malachi would know less than Ben knows, and probably tell the B team that we missed something in Tharkold. That the man that we saved from Tharkold, when we saved the man and the woman who liked to wear the silly mask that didn't cover her face. She was really good, real good at shooting. Ben knows more than Malachi does, but Malachi would be like, we missed something. I must find a map or deduce a riddle.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I don't remember how we got here at all. I'm pretty sure that I think we earned a second chance at things, and then the next thing I know, I wake up here. And,
so Malachi wants to say boat, drugs, yada, 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 here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Reggie's fault, whatever it is. That's how this comes on.
The Adidos kind of looks at all of you. Then I will go, and I will do what must be done.
Well, what do you have to do? What was the middle part again about doing things?
Lanala, grant me patience and grace, strength. How much do you, at this point, Maddie, the tunnel has opened up for Shelley. There is like even the little corpse flowers that sprouted are like on fire, kind of retreating. This is not your cosm. This is mine. This is my world. Sometimes in the deep places, or when the mists retreat, we find things, relics from other worlds, from other cosms, from lost worlds and cosms. We found a gate of some sort, something potent and far beyond even Lanala's ability to discern or scry. I went to speak with Sadie, but when we returned, Baruch Ka had already placed a great beast in front of it. There are strange symbols that we keep seeing in the Living Lands. I think they're connected to the life givers, those who came before.
Great beast, you say?
Oh, look, Reggie, an opportunity to try and earn that medal again.
Yes. You see, I'm rather good at great beasts. It's sort of my specialty. dragon hunter metal and all that.
I understood maybe 50-60% of what you just said.
Well, you should know that I rolled a 3 on my mind, so that's apparently not uncommon.
Does this beast have tentacles? Say it has tentacles.
All of the beasts of Baruch have tentacles. So Ben, what were you trying to remember with your mind roll?
I was trying to, I guess, identify how salvageable these people were.
The thing. No, here's the thing. Those people are fine as long as they don't you plant a gospog seed in the body of a living, or in the corpse of a storm knight. So
Okay.
So you're probably okay with these people as long as the vines don't, continue to do their work. But they're drugged out of their. Well, you see the gourd they were drugged out of, and
Okay, so I could free them as opposed to killing them.
it might have been a raid, Mr. Furious. It might have been. Listen, I don't know what it is, and I don't know who sent you here, but I do know that if Baruch Khan wants it, then all those who oppose the High Lords must stop it. He's trying to open the gate. I don't know what lies behind it, but Baruch Khan is ravenous in his envy and his greed and lust for power.
Well, then I have some good news. This particular group of people specialize in the ruining long-term, well-laid plans. It's all we do, even our own. Theodore ruined 75% of our journeys by just being there fixing things. Reggie can't cook, so he ruins every meal. Maddie wears too much wool, and well, Malachi. Yeah, it's Malachi. If it wasn't for me, this entire group would just sink into the swamp. So, how about if we go and ruin some well-laid plans? They're big creatures to kill. Let's get to smashing and whacking. Reggie, what are you doing, the person over there?
I am apparently freeing them from their gospog in the future.
Oh, you mean they're not done getting all... so we can save them?
I believe so.
I love it. You're never wrong. Let's go ahead and cut them free then.
Right.
There aren't enough corpses around here. We don't need to add to it.
I'm joining in on the freeing of the not quite dead people yet.
All right. Well, Theo, Alistair, and Reggie go to free the future plantings. Shelley, you were going to say something.
Yeah. You said that we woke up and we had a bad taste in our mouth.
Yes.
Like we ate something bad, or it was just
No, even your tongue cleaved to the roof of your mouth. It was a little numb. There was a burning in the back of your throat. You were definitely drugged.
Ew. Okay. Just for good measure, Shelley's just gonna take a little sip of holy water and gargle that around a little bit, and then spit it on one of the mostly dead gospogs.
It hizzles. It hizzles. It sizzles and hisses. You guys managed to get you get about eight people. 2 are definitely members of the Delphi Council. In fact, when you were on the Ronald Reagan, you saw that they had been assigned to some incident that was brewing in Istanbul. You had seen that 2 High Lords had done massive, aggressive claims of the city, and these knights were supposed to leave with a group that was heading there. There is 2 people who look they're little uncanny valley. In the same way that Anton was uncanny valley, so you're guessing they're from Tharkhold, members of the race. And the others, there's a techno demon. There is someone who has got both of their arms have been replaced by just hyper advanced. You're guessing either Pan Pacifica or cyber papacy level cybernetics. Like everyone here is reality rated. You can just sense it. They were brewing. This is a gospog field. They were capturing reality rated persons from throughout the causes, and Baruch Ka was bringing them back here. The disturbing thing is that you and at least 2 of these people were all on the Delphi Council headquarters flagship when you were taken.
Well, gentlemen and ladies, it is your lucky day. We, the B team, were less vegetated than you were.
They're like, wake up!
I turn to our dino friend.
Do you have friends who could care for our friends while we...
Oh, yes. No, I was captured and about to be thrown down in here. The best we could do is maybe take them with us, or at least get them out of the field.
Right then.
Right, so we get them out of the field, and then I hit them with a little mace in order to help them wake up.
While their
Making
eyes
friends.
run and they have trouble breathing, they are still wildly drugged out. They are now having a worse day.
At least they won't remember that.
So, can our lady Dino's friend help lead us out of here? Does she remember how she came in?
Yes, my name is Nakina, and I can lead you to the surface. I can give you directions. And she turns to Alistair. You and I can go after the beast.
Sounds good to me.
Malachi, who is still rather tightly bound by vines, but does have a circle of salt around him where nothing could really hurt him, is like, no, I'm fine. However, I will not be leaving unless we find my companion.
Malachi makes a good point. I'm pretty sure, well, she probably maybe burned herself out. I was like, I don't know that Shelly ever got out of the vines either.
She did, because of his outstanding success on your spirit roll.
Right. I will help retrieve Malachi from the vines with, I think I have a sword. Yeah, I have a saber.
Am I the only one who's not carrying a sword?
I think.
I don't have a sword. That's ridiculous.
Malachi doesn't have a sword. He just has a demon dog.
I can get you a steak if it'll make you feel better. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
I've got a knife. You want a knife? It's silver.
I've got
you
it.
know.
It comes with the wrench and the clamp.
That's not a knife.
This
This is a knife.
Teddy, if it will help, I have the word of the Lord. That's a sword. You can wield that in many situations, and no one can overcome it.
I think that's actually much better coming out of your mouth than it is mine.
Phrasing.
Nakina just kind of looks at all of you, gives a deep and heavy sigh. We are doomed.
It's funny how we hear that.
This team's more dangerous when we're doomed. That's actually when we do our best work.
Ben and Brian, you can each have a possibility. All right. So, do you want Nakina to show you to the surface, give you directions, or are you all planning to head with her deeper into the mystery?
Cool.
I want to see this beast.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, she cleaves to the shadows as she starts to move down deeper. And the thing is, Malachi, she's heading in the direction of Dogathy. As you move deeper, what you see is the vines give way to worked stone marked with strange glyphs and writing. And then at some point, they transition. And what I mean by that is 1 second you're in a stone corridor looking down at this work stone, and the next second you are in what seems to be a metallic tube. The writing is still on the metal, and when you look back, there's metal behind you. Take a half step back, it all translates back into stone.
Can I do a 21 scholar on the glyphs and writing?
Yes. So you got a 21 on your scholar. Let me go over to Alistair. You had your...
No, it was more along the lines of, so I could step backwards and forwards in this and get myself sick. I think I'm still drugged.
The real question is, do you want it on the metal side or on the stone side?
Well, the stone side, because we're going towards the metal side. I'm practical in that sense.
Question.
I'm scavenging on the way.
You're scavenging?
If there is something worth scavenging, I'm scavenging it on the way. If it's a torch, or like a proper torch, burny torch, or if it's even just a piece of like forked stone, whatever. Once we get in the tube, whatever, cabling, wire.
Just roll a d20 for me, and I'll come back to you here in a second.
That's called hoarding.
I don't have a habit. I don't have a rabbit trail. We're fine.
So Malachi, as you kind of look at this is really weird. Like, there's like elements of like Egyptian hieroglyphics and like the glyphs from the Nazca stone lines. There is something that you are convinced you've seen in one of your summoning books. It may be High Enochian, maybe Low Atlantean. It all sort of, it's almost as if you were seeing kind of the proto-language that they all came from. And you got an outstanding success. Well, all right, so here's the thing. With a 21, you said?
21.
You got
16 base plus 5.
All right, so here's the thing. Do you want to spend anything on that? Because you are at a good success right now.
I have a willpower. Would 3 make a difference?
3 would definitely.
Then yes,
drink more Ovaltine.
Yeah.
This
It's a code.
sponsored by. No, I can't say that. Malachi, let's be honest. One of the reasons on the lengthy charge of the crimes you did not commit was definitely a couple that you did. You know those restricted archives that you weren't supposed to look in, but you were like, ancient secrets of the Delphi Council. Why would you label a folder like that if you didn't want me to look in it?
You saw nothing. I did nothing. You can prove nothing.
You know that this language has popped up several places throughout Core Earth, especially in these waning months of the first year. And you know that they're all related to something called, let me pull up my notes, Project Akasha.
Come again?
AKA SHAN. There we go. Sponsored by Ulisses.
So, Malachi would be smart enough to say to his friends, he would say to Teddy, Teddy, do you remember that weekend that we were at home watching your Sling television? And there was a program, and I believe you called it binge watching. And you and I, Teddy, we binged a show with a man with crazy black hair. It was very tall and extravagant. And the gentleman discussed how aliens had arrived here thousands of years ago. I believe the show was called
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm pretty certain it was aliens.
It was aliens who are ancient, or
Yeah, exactly. That
golden
aliens.
girl
It's not aliens. It's aliens. It's Giorgio. It's aliens.
Well, the
I
thing
know
is
what you're
with
talking about. Now, what about ancient aliens? What are we talking about? Are we talking about
Well, Ridley
Anunnaki?
Scott
Are we
is
talking
alien.
about Greys?
Then James Cameron is aliens.
Yeah,
the entire thing. The point is that aliens were here a very long time ago, and that has something to do with
Oh, they're the life bringers that she's talking about then.
Akashans or ashtrays, smoke cans.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see the technology and tear it apart.
What'd you get on your D20 roll, Theo, as Makina kind of holds up her hand? What'd you get? 4? So you have...
Yeah, it was trash.
Well, it wasn't necessarily trash, because right before you cross over from the stone, you see what looks like a torch sticking out of the wall, but as you kind of pull it free, and it looks to be the femur of some sort of dinosaur. And as you kind of heft it, it would make a pretty decent two-handed club.
Look at you.
Now you don't have to
loving
feel
yourself.
out.
Jim,
You're close.
question.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, Shelley.
As they left the Glaspog field in Cannon, Shelley lit a cigar. Which way is the smoke going? Is it going back up the tunnel, or is it going into the metal room? Like, which way is the wind going?
It was going up the tunnel when you were in the stone tunnel, and as soon as you crossed over, it starts flowing down. And if you step back, and you puff, it kind of gets slowly drawn back, and as you step forward, it kind of quickly goes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You guys can, the kind of fetid smell is growing, but there's also this acidic tang to the air. And you can clearly hear kind of a low, multi-throated growl, as if something is desperately trying to strike at something. And you can hear kind of this slumping, wet noise that kind of rumbles in your chest and then thwacks down. And then there's another kind of sloughing, wet noise that then thwacks down.
Does it sound like footsteps?
It sounds a lot like footsteps, Reggie. Greg gets a possibility for acidic tang, the least successful Gatorade flavor.
The astronauts did not enjoy acidic tang.
Jam, what does it smell like? I mean, I'm used to Malachi's evil.
It does. You are used to Malachi's evil. This is more of a a fresher evil. It's more like a Mentos evil. No, so this has the smell of rotting vegetation, but layer upon layer of it, Shelley. To your supernatural senses, you can feel it kind of seeping in. It's that stench that you're going to need to exfoliate until you bleed to get it off of you. Halt.
Is it Dorothy?
The gate is up there. It does not sound like his priests are here, but the beast is in the darkness guarding the gate. My guess is that Baruch Ka goes to speak with others who have more knowledge of, and she kind of scrapes her claws lightly against the metal, and you can see little sparks get thrown. There's no scraping noise, but it just sort of reacts to her claws. Whatever world this came from, he will need aid to decipher it. Perhaps if we can slay the beast and see what lies beyond, we have a chance of thwarting him. And Reggie, to your keen monster hunter eyes, let's just say that in your time, you haven't just slain dragons, but there were more than a few Malachis who were on the, let's say, the opposite side of the Lance of St. George. And you know what familiars are. And you do see someone has drawn a, in the metal, it looks like they've thrown dirt on the ground, and they have put a berm of dirt in a circle, and there are stones that have been marked with glyphs that have been set down into the dirt circle, and Dogathy is inside the dirt circle, and she is growling, and there is definitely you know how Dogathy radiates, supernatural evil and maybe not an insignificant number of eyes. Not an insignificant number of eyes. You do see that there, as you kind of look down beyond Dogathy, you see what looks to be a massive metal door. Theo and Malachi, because Malachi apparently binge watched a bunch of Netflix with Theo, you recognize this as what would be like a hangar bay or a cargo bay, or like a massive metal door that should open almost like an iris. It reminds you a bit of that show that you like, Theo, the Far Portal.
Stargate. Oh, whatever it was. Yeah.
You can see, however, that the whatever brought this lost world here is slowly fading. The tunnel, the rock worked stone of the living lands and the vines are starting to sort of superimpose or emerge from the stone. There are places where the metal has like a very stony finish, or kind of looks like it's been worked, but it's still metal, and then just kind of fades in that. But there is a massive mound of just vines and plant. It looks like a massive compost pile. In front of it, nearly 10 meters across and about 10 meters tall, just kind of sitting there. And from the door, there seems to be some sort of field in front of it, and there is this glittering interaction you can't quite put your finger on between Dogathy and the portal. The beast is near, I can smell it. And she looks at the mound. I think it is resting, regenerating. Maybe it is just lying in wait. She kind of puts her arm on Alistair's shoulder. You said you wanted to fight it. I think there it is.
Was it behind the vegetation?
No, this is the living land. It is most likely the vegetation.
So you want me to fight a mountain? Is that what I'm getting at?
You said that you did your best work when you are doomed.
I don't feel doomed yet.
It's probably a massive inedible bulk.
Well, that's most of what Reggie cooks, so I'm used to that too. We can do this.
Well, then, I do believe some additional cooking is in order. He holds up an explosive shell.
All right, are you gonna...
High heat for 0.3 seconds.
All right, Reggie, give me the shot.
All right. He loads it up and... All right. I also... Between combats, do your cards that you put in your action pool carry over, or do they just go back into your hand?
They go back into your hand, and then you have to re-put them in the action pool. However, all right, so go ahead and give me the roll.
Okay. Finally, that's a 10. All right, so I get to roll a second one? Because 10s explode? Okay.
That is correct.
That's my traditional 4. So that's 0, minus 6. And my shooty bit skills. So that's fire combat. It's plus 12, so
is that 10 gets me a 0 on the bonus chart, if I'm reading that correctly. 4 gets me a -6. So
Yeah, remember, with a 10 explodes, you add it together.
oh, okay. So cool.
Yeah.
So that equals 20. Well, 22 minus 6 equals 16.
Why are you at -6?
Because I rolled a 4 on the other dice, right?
No, you add them
No, you add it all
It's
together.
4
Add them
plus
together.
10, and then that's 14, and then that 14 becomes
14.
1, so that's what you add to your shooting.
So at 20?
Yes.
All right, now because it's large, you get +4. It's so huge, it's very large. It's kind of hard to miss. And so you got a 24. So as the shot rings out, Reggie, with a 24, you got an outstanding success. So what's the base damage of your shell?
15 damage in a small blast radius.
And then roll 2 bonus dice.
Okay.
And then we were going to
Is
jump
that-
into...
Is that on top of my Slayer gun's damage?
No, the Slayer gun is what allows you to fire the explosive round.
So that is a 6 and a 4.
All right, so remember, a 6 is actually 5, and you re-roll it and add it, it explodes. So you're at +9, so you're at 24 damage to start.
Okay, with a 3, so 27.
All right, 27 means you are up 6. So that's a wounded 2 shock, and I'm going to let that stand.
Okay.
So the shell hits the creature, and it 0.3 seconds later, it detonates, and it spews viscera and plant matter, and you can actually see the stones around it start to sizzle and pop as if the thing's blood is acidic, and it begins to unfold itself, growing larger, rising up to about 12 meters in height. It is another gospog, although this one is massive, with a mouth that starts at its chest and works its way up to its shoulders. Massive claws, vines wrapping around all of it, and it's dripping this foul, thick fluid that sizzles and burns at the ground. And so we're going to get started. The first card is I Have You Now. Villains go first, heroes go second, and you get to defend, or your approved actions are defend, which, and for Reggie, because you haven't played in a while, defend would be if I attack you, you get to make a skill roll and increase your defense to what your skill roll was. Taunt is, taunting. And because this is a dramatic scene, we use the drama line, and heroes are stymied for this first round, so you take -2 to your actions.
Cool.
As this thing kind of rises up, you're not sure why you're not scared. You should be. Maybe it's an after effect of the drug. Maybe it's something else. But it comes charging forward, and it comes charging right at Reggie. Because you guys technically had the drop, would any of you like to intercept this?
Well, I'll get in the way and do an active defense.
Okay.
So I'm going to put myself in front of Reggie and then actively defend.
All right. Give me your melee defense roll, and you will get, if you're successful, you will get a drama card or a destiny card. I rolled an 8. I'm definitely spending possibility on that bad boy. Okay. 26 plus 9.
It's 24. So 8. Supernatural evil?
Yes.
Okay. So 8. It's going to be a 25.
So a 25 is a standard success with what it rolled. What is your toughness?
Against it while actively defending, a 15.
Okay. So you, sir, will take 2 shock from this hit.
Ow!
Kind of catches you up the side of the head. You get the shield up, and the shield the force of the blow knocks the shield into your temple, ringing your bell. just a bit. Who would like to go? It is now the hero's turn. Who would like to go? Alistair, you definitely get seize the initiative, and you can put a card in your pool because you technically did an active defense.
Okay.
Well,
JM, does this creature have willpower?
The skill, or just in general?
The skill specifically, because if he doesn't, then it will go down to spirit.
It'll be off his spirit.
What is this creature's spirit?
It's he's got spirit. Yes, he do. His spirit is 10.
His spirit is 10. Excellent.
My
All
writing
right.
skills
So,
failed me.
I think that Malachi will stand somewhere between Dogathy and this creature and say, "Creature, have you no decency? This is clearly a very well cared for dog-off." And I'm going to hit him with a 17 on terror. So 17 versus his willpower or spirit.
That is a good success. What does it do?
That will give him, will make him very stymied and give it 4 shock.
Okay. You can see that the vegetative nature of its flesh sort of undulates as the terror hits it, and it takes a half step back and then remembers what it's here to do and what it is. Reggie, Theo, you were gonna go next.
yeah, I'm only going next so much as I'm looking to find anything else I can possibly throw at this thing other than the big two-handed club of a bone, because it touches me, I'm gonna die. I'm tissue paper.
As you look around, I mean, there's several large rocks. There are the stones in the dirt circle. You could throw Reggie.
I might have the strength to do a cannonball for that. Yeah.
That's right. Fastball special.
Yeah. You know what?
And don't forget, Mr. Furious brings up a good point. You don't have to attack it. You can make an interaction attack against it if you want to try and taunt it, or when you would get a destiny card. If you want to do a maneuver to try and throw it off balance, it's very stymied, but you could also make it vulnerable, which would make it easier for everyone else to hit the creature.
I bet holy water would hurt it if you made a delivery system, Teddy.
No one here has holy water.
You cannot.
Never mind.
To use the maneuver. Thank you, Mr. Furious.
Yeah. Yeah, my maneuver is for trash.
But here's the thing: you have possibilities.
I
and
know.
It's massive. So it is not the most agile thing. I'm not saying you have to do it, Teddy. I'm just saying don't undersell your maneuver.
So, and that is based on dex, so that will count. So yeah, sure. Let's try and maneuver it, or maneuver so it has more than one target that it has to contend with.
All right, so you're in trying to dash around it. All right,
Yeah.
Give me the roll.
Okay, so that's a 3, and I think there's gonna be okay, well, possibility it is. Groovy. So 13, I think, makes that a wash. Where's my cursor? No, 13 is still a 1. And then we're going to burn the oh crud. It's in my hand. I haven't put it to pool.
Yeah, and you can't start. You would put one in the pool at the end of this. So
Yeah, so I can't use adrenaline yet.
yeah, what'd you get?
A whopping 10.
A 10 is a standard success, Theo. So you can make him vulnerable, which would make which would give everyone else a +2 for their roll, and basically negate the stymie that they're suffering under. The creature kind of steps back. You can see it; its foot splays out as the viney tendrils that support it kind of take its weight as it tries to keep Alistair right in front of it, but track Theo as he moves around the cavern. Shelley, you were making the clapping noise, so I assume this means you're going to set something on fire.
I've got a couple.
Didn't go well. I would kind of like to rancor it and shoot the fire column up through its jaw.
Okay.
Yep.
What's really great is the Twitch stream on my right screen is about 3 seconds delayed. So when you did that, Malachi, I then got to look over and see you do it again.
Okay, so I rolled a 12, which isn't great, but my faith is a 16. So does that still? It's against his dodge or dex?
His dodge is 8.
Great.
And actually, I'm sorry. His dodge is actually a 6 right now. So what did you get? You got a 16?
Because no, hold on. It'd be a 14 because I'm still at -2 because I'm doing 2 spells. So it'd be a 14.
Okay, so a 14 is a good success.
Great. So
Yeah. You get 1 bonus die damage, and what is it?
ooh, that's a 6.
So what's the total?
7. So it's 16 and 7 is 23.
All right. I will be spending a possibility to try and soak this. And I get a 3. I'll be spending another possibility to not get a 3. So 13 is a +1. So that negates the shock. So, all right. And what was your total damage, Maddie? I apologize.
23.
23 is all right. So the column of fire goes up, and the creature moves back. You can see the vines kind of unfold themselves around for a brief second. The head kind of disappears. You see bits of the teeth and the eyes as they kind of move around the fire. It takes a step back, but the column of flame stays there. Correct, Maddie? So a player's choice on a maneuver test could push the creature back into the flames. Just tossing that out there. Reggie, what do you do as its head kind of reforms, looking at your buddy Alistair, who definitely just took it in the face for you?
Moneymaker right here.
Thank you, sir. I shall clear my gun and take out a holy water shell. Take a step back, level this thing at point blank range, and fire the Lance of St. George into the gospog's face, which is an extraordinarily large target. All right, let's do better than
You are up 4 and -2, and then an additional +2. So you're at a net +4 in addition to whatever you roll.
All right, that's a 12. So does that mean I get to roll again? I forget. 12s explode.
No, just 10 and 20.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so that's 0 plus. So that would be fire combat plus 14. Yeah, I'm reading that correctly.
Okay, so a total of 14.
Yes.
All right, and did that include the +4 to the final total?
It did not, so that's plus 18.
All right, so 18. That is an outstanding success.
Excellent.
So what is the base damage on your weapon?
That is 14.
And then go ahead and roll 2 bonus dice.
And with this holy water, it's plus 2 damage versus supernaturally evil.
Okay, so we're at 16. Go for it.
Plus 7.
16 total of
So 23.
23. Thank you. All right, so you hit this thing right in the face, and you can see like chunks of the teeth and the vines go flying, but it sort of kind of reforms, Reggie, even as you are watching. The next action is you are thrown back. The villain goes first, and the heroes will suffer a surge, which means you will all need to roll a disconnect check, which is just a straight D20. And at this point, I don't believe any of you are using any. You disconnect on a 1 for the surge. Now I will say, the Adino's priestess starts to chant, and you can start to see this soft, glowing, golden light start to fill the area directly around her. Those of you who are nearby find yourself where is you all recover 2 shock if you are down any shock. The creature is going to try a multi-attack and get Alistair and Reggie with a single swipe of its claws.
Okay.
Now, guys, here's the thing. You guys know that typically, gospog should not be radiating kind of this level of supernatural evil, but you can see kind of in the vines, it is leaking that same black fluid from between the tightly bound vines around it. Alistair and Malachi, well, actually, I think you were all there. It definitely looks like the stuff that was oozing out of the eyes of the monks in Russia. That's a 4. It's not good enough to get you both with a... all right, so with my penalties because of terror, check that off. So +1. All right, so Reggie and Alistair, I hit you both with a 20. What is your defense? This would be melee or unarmed.
Let's see, 17 for me.
17 for you, so it's a normal success. Reggie, what's your unarmed or melee defense?
I suppose I should unmute. 13 melee defense.
All right, so Alistair, your toughness?
Let's see, I'm not actively defending this turn, therefore it is an 11.
So Alistair, that's 2 wounds and 4 shock.
Oof.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That is 1 wound and 2 shock. Reggie, what is your toughness?
14.
So 14. All right, so that is a wound and 2 shock as well. Are either of you going to soak?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right. In that case, as it steps back, it lets out a massive roar, and you can see stones begin to fall, cracks start to appear in the metal. Who is going next? It is now the hero's turn.
I got something that should probably help other people here.
Yep.
Okay.
Go for it.
Destiny card plays are at the end of everything, right?
You put a card into the pool at the end, but you can spend a Destiny card that's in the pool at any time that it is appropriate.
Awesome. Then I'm going to pop leadership out of the pool. I'm going to burn the leadership off the pool.
Okay.
Somebody want an adrenaline, and the other person want a maelstrom. Or do I have to determine who those actually go to?
You can put them wherever you want them.
You put them in whoever's pool you want them to be.
I think Alistair's probably going to use the adrenaline much more than other people. And just for grins, we're going to give Malachi Maelstrom.
That seems like a bad idea, but okay.
You say bad idea. I say glorious idea.
How many cards are in your hand right now, Theo?
How many are in my hand? That would have been I have 3. Well, I would draw 3.
Okay, I'll give you 3. You have Supporter, Inspire, and another Leadership.
Wow.
Right, and then what are you doing with your turn, sir?
For grins, we're going to. This is probably a truly, obviously horrible idea, but we're gonna throw a rock at the beastie.
Okay.
You know, one of those rocks that happens to have a little glyph on it that's around Doggothy.
All right.
Just throw it so it steps back into the column of fire, and everything will be fine.
Well, then I could multi-action that then, yeah?
Yeah, you could use the stone as part of a maneuver to try and get him into the fire.
Excellent, then we'll do that.
Okay, give me a maneuver check. Malachi, immediately your connection, as Teddy picks up the stone, your connection with Doggothy is back at full.
I will go ahead and play Survival of the Fittest then, so that none of my allies will suffer wound penalties for the rest of the scene.
All right, nice. What'd you get, Teddy?
A 15 in total.
A 15 in total. Would you like to spend any more? Because right now you are at a good success. You would need 3 more points to get to an outstanding success and maneuver the creature back into the flames.
Can't do that.
Does anyone have a card that would help Teddy?
You know what? I will simply just.
Could I give him a second chance?
That would just allow him to re-roll.
Okay.
No, I think you were going to say that.
Yeah. No, I'll take a possibility on it.
Okay.
I'm going to be out of possibility at this point, but that's okay. Oh shit. It's a 19. Which is another 6. And I had said 15 before, right?
Yep.
So
right.
Total of 21.
All right, so Teddy, if I may make a recommendation, make him very vulnerable right now so that everyone gets a +4 to hit.
Sounds great.
All right, so Shelly, go ahead and give me the damage roll as he stepped in. So you did, you had a good success, so go ahead and roll it. Okay, so what's the total on that?
So that would be 21.
All right, so I've got good news. I've got bad news.
Is it?
The good news is you push it into the flames, Teddy. And it is on fire. And by that I mean it is a flammable creature, which means it will take that 21 points of damage plus a bonus die every round now for a full minute. So at the start of every round, Maddie, on your turn, I will let you roll the extra bonus die for the damage. Unfortunately, anyone in melee combat with him will also suffer that damage because it is now a burning torch. It is a hunka burning gospog. So that was Theo's turn. Who is going next? The creature roars in fury as it has been set alight by the holy fire of Shelley's prayers.
I suppose if no one else is going, I shall shoot it once more.
All right, you hear the click clack as Reginald chambers the new shell.
All right, then we're going to once again fire another holy water shell.
All right, so base damage of 16. Go ahead and roll to hit. So you're actually at +8 to your final toll then,
Excellent.
because it is very vulnerable and it is very large.
It's a natural 19.
So that'll be a +6, and then you get another +8 on top of that. So whatever
that's
your fire
14.
combat is, +14.
So 12. So 26.
Go ahead and roll 2 bonus dice of damage.
Okay. I'm also going to spend my coup de grace.
Okay, and get a 3rd bonus die of damage. Go for it.
Excellent. Oh, that's 2 1s. Snake eyes for my bonus damage. And 3. So 5 bonus damage total.
So total of 21. The shot rings off again, and you can see it just blows a hole in the side of the creature's throat, who still seems to be coming towards you.
I don't think this is working.
You do hear from the priestess, "Kill it! You said you were good at killing things." Who's going next? Alistair, Malachi, Shelley?
Malachi, seeing that the creature will not be stopped, and having reconnected with his familiar, is overcome with emotion. He steps forward. The shrieking cloak flies behind him. The silver dagger is displayed, and he warns the the demon that this will be your last. And I'm going to drop a 24 terror against his mind or spirit.
It's an outstanding success.
Excellent. So that will be a -4 shock, and it will lose its next turn.
All right. Alistair and Shelley, you see the creature kind of stunned, and you guys all see Dogathy seems immensely pleased.
There's slobber from mini mouths.
Alistair, what are you doing?
Just so that I'm clear, does it appear that this monster seems to be regenerating all the damage that we're dealing to it?
It does not. It does feel like
so
the
these things, it looks like they're sticking. It's just hasn't taken enough of them.
Exactly. It's also very, very tough.
Right. Okay. Well, first I have to manage with my surge.
Okay.
And I rolled a 1, so I disconnect. So I believe I get a free action to try and reconnect. What's the zone penalty that we got to deal with here?
The zone penalty here is a -4.
All right. Bookends.
Did you get a 20?
And another one.
No.
So that's 44.
Glory. We have to trade around for glory now.
And well, not necessarily. I'm gonna go ahead and just critical moment this, because why not? Because there's a hero card right here. So
It
that's
wouldn't be a
53.
B-team game without a bunch of glory.
And then I'll spend the possibility from 53. Oh, look at that. It goes to a 10 to 63. And then I'll spend my glory card.
All right. So Glory.
So that's a heck of a reconnect.
All players immediately receive one possibility, one destiny card, and you have filled the area with hope. So what I would like is a straight spirit roll right now from Reggie, from all of you.
Ready?
And here are your cards, by the way. I've got them all drawn out. Alistair, you got action.
Yay!
Shelly, you have alertness. Theo, you have hero. Reggie has another glory. And Malachi has a reality surge. All right. Reggie, what did you get on your spirit check? Theo, what did you get on your spirit check?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. What did you get on your spirit? Just straight spirit test.
9.
All right.
8 over here.
Shelly?
11.
Malachi.
8.
All right. And Alistair, what did you get on your spirit check?
13 plus I'll go ahead and blow that action on it, since I have to get rid of it at the end of the turn anyway.
Okay. Theo? All right, so Shelly and Alistair, that pain in your chest kind of goes away at this point. Like, as the glory kind of like passes over you, you kind of feel much better. Malachi, Theo, and Reggie, that pain intensifies in your chest, and like you start to see these like glimmering little motes around the gate and around the three of you, and also around Dogathy. So, Alistair, you reconnected. What are you doing with the rest of your turn? As
all right,
glory, and what's the glory look like as it goes off?
At this point in time, I think mostly it's just a shockwave. So where there is stone or where there's steel and stuff, there's a shockwave, and it kind of goes back, and there's sort of a Victorian vibe and feel to it. The shadows get darker and deeper and a little bit nastier, but less vegetative. The monster sort of goes from that vegetative state and starts appearing to be a little bit more like one of the Tharkolden, or not Tharkold, but the Oroshian gospog, and then shifts back to its mountainous form, very confused by the whole thing, and then its reality snaps back after mine lets go. But I feel rather refreshed for having that little blast of home.
You do. Also, you guys can see that at this point, the symbols and the runes around the gate, the glyphs, start to light up and glow brightly.
All right. So what I'm going to do with the rest of my turn is I'm going to use an idea card.
Okay.
To see if there isn't something that's actually powering or amplifying or altering this creature that we're fighting, or at least our sense of what's actually happening. Because it seems like there's a lot of disjointing and disconnecting from what I see versus what actually is.
Yes. So you can actually see that same black substance that was in the Tharkoldian monastery seems to have somehow infused this gospog, raising it far beyond its base. I mean, it is a gospog of the fifth planting, but beyond even that, as if it has grown somehow not just more powerful, but in some ways more antithetical to possibility energy, as if it has been infused with the complete negation of possibility energy. And I'm going to let you have that without having it lose your turn.
All right. Excellent, because that's icky.
JM, I would like to quickly play my master plan and take back that idea card.
Done.
Thank you.
What are you doing now, Star?
All right, so from this stage of the game, is it possible for me to target the creature inside of the gospog?
Oh, yeah, it's on fire.
All right,
I would call that a called shot at a -4. So
all
you're
right,
at
I will
+8.
I will take the called shot at a -4. Plus, I have a blessed weapon, which means that supernatural evil creatures that have any kind of a vulnerability will take that vulnerability damage on top of what I'm normally dealing.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Plus, I'm going to all-out attack.
Which means you get an extra bonus die damage.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and use Relentless and add an extra one for the shock of it all.
Okay. Give me the roll.
I would love to. So, off to the races. That is a 12, which is a little bit less than exciting. But I will go ahead and let it stand for right now. So that is... It's large, so that's 2 more.
It's very large. It's 4 more. So it's very large and it's very vulnerable. So you're at +8.
+8 -4, so we're looking at a +4. So that's a 21.
And don't forget your +4 from all-out attack as well.
Right, at 25.
That is an outstanding success.
All right, so I get 2 for the outstanding success, and then 1 additional 1 for the all-out attack, and then 1 for the relentless.
Does 3 from supporter actually matter?
Not at this point.
Oh.
All right, I rolled a 1, and so for my signature weapon, I'll re-roll that bad boy. All right, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 26.
All right. So that will be 2 wounds and 4 shock as Alistair, his sword blazing bright, the fire of Shelley's Inferno exposing this sort of inky core, stabs into him, and the creature is going to spend a possibility to try and soak.
No, it's not, because I'm going to play Maelstrom.
Ooh. That's a dirty pool, my friend.
That's how the game works.
As the creature tries to reach out into this reality to shift itself away from the point of the blade, you see its vines kind of start to pull back, but as it does so, it does not take the inky voidish core to it because it finds itself cut off from the possibilities. And you see Alistair's blade slides into the heart of the creature, and it takes a step forward, and the darkness inside of it, your blade burns white hot, Alistair, with its blessed weapon, and it just shatters. Not the blade, the core of the creature. I figured I would explain that. And it drops to the ground, looks at you strangely, and falls back and just dissolves into a pile of rotted vegetation.
See, I told you we were good at this sort of thing.
She looks at you.
I don't...
You do?
And I do that quick aside, like,
So,
behind your shield.
Malachi would like to play the idea card that he master planned to see if there was something that we learned about from our experience in Tharkhold with the source and the few things he read to either seal away the blackness or somehow contain it for later devious study. I wouldn't do that.
That's right.
But
Malachi, as you look around and the glyphs are flaring on the strange door, you definitely see a connection between the source and what's behind the door. And I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna twist your idea just a bit. You can read briefly the glyphs inscribed above the door. And it says the gateway to the heart. And you think you could open it.
I would immediately tell Shelly that I'm having crazy visions and that something is asking me to do something that I really want to do it, baby. I want to do it so bad, but I'm real afraid that if I open this evil door, so I am referring to the team leader. I have enough discipline to fall back and say, hey, lady who saves my life all the time, what do you say to the evil voice inside my evil head?
Well, it wasn't a voice inside your head. It was just sort of like it all came together, all of your scholar rules and everything. You translate.
Yeah, so I'll say, hey, boss lady, I think I can open that door. Want me to? Oh, please say yes, please say yes, please say yes.
What is on the other side?
Shelly will slap Malachi across the face and say, unconverted men walk over the pit of hell on a rotten covering. Take heed, you don't fall in.
What is it?
Oh, that old chestnut.
Was that a no then?
Maybe we should examine it a little bit before we just waltz right in. That's all I'm asking.
Listen, yeah, go for it. What would you like to do? You do know that the glory that just happened somehow empowered this gate with possibility energy, as if it may have been waiting for something like that.
Can anyone throw something at this?
You guys can, yeah, anybody can do anything they want right now. What do you want to try and do? Shelly has said we need more information. What are you thinking, Teddy?
I've got evidence analysis, and I've got scholar to play with. I've got science to play with.
We might as well let the Dedenius know that it says something about the gateway to the heart.
Heart?
Oh, so it's a man's stomach then that we're going to.
That's why every English male will never make it.
Teddy, go ahead and give me a roll. You pick the skill. She goes, there are legends. There are legends that the life givers sealed away a great enemy, or at least the root of its power, until a time that knights from beyond the world would come to end it. Could this be the gate?
Sure.
What'd you get, Teddy?
I'm going for broke on something real quick here. 27 makes for a 9.
Do you need any help? I have a drama card if you need it.
25. I would be at 25 right now. Hero. And wait, what did you just throw, Maddie?
Drama, which would be another possibility.
Is it a free possibility? Does it count against a...
Yeah. No, you can spend a possibility and a hero and a drama. As long as they all come from different sources, they all work.
Oh my god.
Are you going to give Reggie the chance to play another glory?
Do we have another glory out there?
You have another glory in the pool.
Alright, so... yeah, I've got 2 more dice rolls to play with then. So that, wow, okay, so that's taking us to 40. 56 is a 14.
Can you get to a 60 on the die roll is what needs to happen.
Oh, 60 on a die roll?
Yeah,
on the die roll, I've got 56 so far.
Yep, you need to get to 60 for a glory to go off.
And Teddy, you remembering with the with the drama, that's a possibility, so it's automatically a 10 if it was below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was rolling over 10s across the board.
Yeah. Do you have any way to get to 60?
I have an action card that'll get him to 59.
Well, it's got to be on the dice.
It's got to be on the die.
Yeah.
That just the after effect.
No, because I think I have thrown all of the possibilities and all of the other cards that I have here. So
with
no,
this
I can't hit 60.
You did get an outstanding success, I'm assuming, just because you got a plus. Roll.
I mean, 16. I mean, I got a total science of 30. I don't know if that helps.
No, so Theo, you know what this is. This is not just a door, but it is a teleportation gate. It will take you somewhere if you activate
Will
it.
it take us to Hargard?
It will not take you to Hargard.
Well, good news, bad news. I can totally activate this, and we can totally go somewhere. Bad news is I have no idea where.
B team in space. B team in space.
Muted, Maddie.
Well, I was just singing B-Team in Space.
Are you going to activate the portal? Or are you going to escape the caverns?
Well, I know what's going to happen with Theo. Either way, if everybody else bugs out, he's still opening it.
No,
All right.
clearly, this giant monster was protecting this exit. So,
Oh,
really wouldn't
Oh,
do it. Destroy the Guardian without going in.
do you still have that big bone? The large dino bone that you pulled out of the wall?
In this one.
Yeah. Turn it on and throw the bone in. Dogathy will chase the bone, and we'll all be like, well, we can't leave her alone.
So Teddy, you know how to activate it. I'm going to ask you, are you?
Beep,
Okay.
beep,
So
beep.
Teddy,
Whoosh.
the doors slowly open to reveal a scene in front of you. You can see a set of basalt stairs in the inside of a massive pit kind of ringing around. You can see lights mounted on the wall. You can see a stone plinth made out of the same basalt that kind of extends over this pit of bubbling tar. A much larger pool of what the monks called the source. You can see figures on the stairs moving down, looking around. One of them bears a large sword.
Cool. I've got this lost treasure card,
Okay.
and I would like to use it to find an extraordinarily ridiculous large cache of explosives inside of a case. Maybe like a low-grade nuclear bomb that I won't know how to activate, but Teddy will suddenly realize could actually find a new home inside that pit.
All right, so Alistair,
For
you
cash
see
and
it.
prizes.
You see that cache of explosives kind of, it looks like they've set up explosives on the other side. And you also see at the edge of that plinth, there is a man in dark black robes with a massive, magnificently long beard and a thick wooden cross hanging from beads down the side. And he has his hand out to an Adinos with a magnificent feathered headdress. And you hear, "No, Torg, my love, you must join me here and now." And as you guys kind of see all of this, Alistair's eyes lighting up at what seems to be a small low-grade nuke. Dogathy looks at all of you and with the multiple eyes, speaks to all of you in a clear voice. "The way is finally open," and jumps through. And that is where we will pause. And there may be a glory in play. The end of the horseman's ride. So, a little foreshadowing. I hope you guys all enjoyed this little body horror-ish, gospog-ish Halloween episode. Thank you to the B team, as always, playing and joining. All of these notes are going into the setup for the Final Horseman game, which is rapidly approaching. And as I said before, we have plenty of more shows and games planned on the Ulisses International channel. Keep with us. Stay tuned. I appreciate everyone in chat. It's always good to see all of you. Greg, good to see you. Mr. Furious, everyone who has joined us, I appreciate it. If you like what Ulisses does, please check out their website. Check out, consider subscribing to the Ulisses International channel here on Twitch, on YouTube. Tune in Thursday for Fading Suns. We run games every Tuesday and Thursday night. The Fading Suns campaign is getting close to its end as well. We'll be wrapping up all of these games by the end of the year. And there will also be a return of BROG in a very special Christmas episode called The Stupidest Drone that I am currently writing and very excited about. So, to all of the B team, you are not the B team in my book. You are definitely the A team after tonight. Because every time you show up, you throw glory. The horsemen throw shade, you guys throw glory. To JD, our producer, who is tirelessly working behind the scenes to make us look that good. You can't see where I'm pointing, but I'm like kind of pointing to my other screen and now pointing to all the cubes. Thank you to JD. And to everyone else, just thank you for watching. Until next time, join us next week, Tuesday night, for more Torg's Day Night gaming. We'll return to the Horsemen and the Cyber Papacy and what could be the chromiest run ever. Until next time, I am JM the GM. This is the amazing B team, and we will be back in 1 week. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay gaming.